Saturday night's alright for fighting, and apparently it's alright for bad wrestling shows too. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling, and we are here to review the premiere of AEW Coalition, the brand new show on Saturday nights on TNT. So as if we didn't have enough content from AEW already, we're getting another 2-hour show. And why is this show happening? I'll tell you why it's happening. Because we've got the return of the cult of personality, CM Punk. I guess him, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, the Elite, Adam Page, and everybody else that CM Punk's got a problem with. Pretty much half the AEW locker room just couldn't really work things out. So yeah, we've got a brand new show for CM Punk. What's your thoughts on Punk and the Elite before we talk about tonight's Coalition?
Well, I feel like AEW should have utilised it. They're not going to utilise it, but I'm sure they all made wee transgender kid signs and hugged and made it and made everything alright, baby. Come on.
And with that said, you have just spoiled the post-match main event celebrations, but we'll talk more about that at the end of the episode. Personally, I think it is absolutely retarded for Tony Khan to have to set up a brand new show just because a couple of guys in his company would not get along. And based on CM Punk's opening promo, it doesn't look like they're going to get along going forward. So Punk comes out, Chicago crowd, cult of personality, crowd are going mental. I mean, you would expect this. It looked like the Chicago arena was sold out tonight. I'm not surprised because it is Punk's hometown. Whether they can continue to sell it when they go other places, we'll see. We've seen in recent months, last year, AEW shows have been like tarped off, and you can look at like the upper section and the camera, the area of the arena that ain't on the hard cam. We've seen like multiple sections taped off and literally nobody there. We've seen AEW in 10,000 stadiums, and they're lucky if they can bring like 2, 3, 4,000 in there. So yeah, they are struggling. You don't really see that with WWE, but you see it with AEW.
I think that's a big problem, though.
It is a big problem.
See, your only selling point to actually sell out arenas is CM Punk coming back, and it's so cheap, man. It's just all the hype up is CM Punk coming back. He's not doing anything meaningful. But yeah, he'll come out. He might bury WWE, or he might bury Adam Page. He might bury the Elite. But see, at the end, what's it do for us storyline wise? Fuck all. It's the same shit.
It doesn't, and my point I was making about...
Would we not rather tune in tonight? Oh, who did CM Punk brutally beat down last week? Or who beat up Punk?
Well, nobody, because he wasn't there. It's his return.
Yes, I know, but like there should be something building up to this.
Alright, well, there was nothing
building. The show though kicked off with him in the parking lot, battering Adam Page, then he goes MMA style on the Young Bucks.
And then he gets battered by the Young Bucks.
Mickey Gall comes in and just fucking knocks him out.
Double super kick on a shot, right? Anyway, my point was, I don't think AEW really have the fan base to tour the USA. I mean, WWE is a global company. They've got like decades, years of history and fans, and they just don't have that. It's like TNA. I mean, they couldn't tour all the time. They pretty much stayed in the Impact Zone and then did like little tours, whereas AEW is trying to do what WWE does with touring regularly to different cities and different states, but I don't think that is going to work long term. But it did work tonight. Punk came out, buried the Young Bucks essentially. I didn't think his promo was that good. I believe he brought out his old AEW World title, but he kept it in a bag. It's like, why would he bring this bag out and like acknowledge the fact that the title was in it but never show the title? It was a little bit weird. And he came out with like boots hanging over his, the shoelaces hanging over his neck as well, and he said, until someone can lace these boots, they will remain on my feet. Then he says that you can call him whatever you want, love him or hate him. He says that people call him One Bill Phil, or the real Bill Phil, and he's a real dollar bill in a company full of counterfeit bucks, which I thought was pretty good. Then he buried some fans and he said, if you think I owe you an apology, then I'm sorry that the only people softer than you are your favourite wrestler. So I mean, there was a couple of good digs there towards the Elite, but I wasn't really digging it. He did mention pro wrestling again. I don't know if that was him trying to put over AEW and bury WWE again. Every time he mentions pro wrestling, I just feel like he's taking a shot at WWE. And
it's funny though, because WWE's just going down the route of pro wrestling now, with Triple H in charge. WWE is more pro wrestling than it ever has been in the last like 25 years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But at the end of the day, this is the guy that grew up. Why did he go to WWE in the first place if it wasn't what he wanted it to be?
Oh, but CM Punk's wrestling career ended in 2005, I'll let you know.
You can argue that every year CM Punk was in WWE, it leaned closer towards pro wrestling than it did sports entertainment.
Absolutely.
I think the longer wrestling has went, the longer WWE's went, it's beginning to get closer to pro wrestling, because back in the day it was always sports entertainment, so I don't see why CM Punk's just having an issue with it now.
But let's be real, this was very tame. There's obviously he's agreed with Tony Khan not to go fully in here.
I mean, he has, but for me, it wasn't a good promo. Punk, was it better than? I think it was better than his original promo when he debuted it. But it's not great. You just expect more for Punk here. Didn't deliver for me.
Yeah, because the original one, it was just burying WWE for something that's 7 years old.
I want to work with guys like Darby. Yeah, fuck Darby Allin, man.
You make me feel like Britt Baker in Pittsburgh.
Anyway, he said he's done being a nice guy or something along those lines, so maybe we're going to get a heel CM Punk, but I mean, the promo was okay for me. I liked the fact that he did bury the Young Bucks because they deserve to be buried, but I wouldn't say it was great.
No, it wasn't great, but I mean, it probably took him about 6 months to come up with these lines.
And it looks like his new favourite catchphrase is, "Tell me when I'm telling lies." Well, I'll tell you when you're telling lies, Punk. See, when you suggested that you weren't in pro wrestling for 15 years, suggesting that WrestleMania main event against The Undertaker's not pro wrestling, that's when you're telling lies. You overrated bastard. With that, I'm going to move on unless you have anything to add.
No, I agree with that statement.
It's like this guy's...
Yeah, it wasn't the main event, though.
Well, McMahon said...
triple main event.
Triple main event there, buddy. I mean, if Tony Khan can do triple main events, then fucking Vincent Kennedy McMahon can as well.
Aye.
And CM Punk can bury WWE, but let's be real, if it WWE... Do you think UFC offer him a contract for $500,000 to fight Mickey Gall coming off his Ring of Honor career?
Absolutely not.
Do you think he gets these movie deals? Do you think he appears in Mayans MC if he's coming off a fucking Ring of Honor deal and not a WWE deal where he was known worldwide?
No.
Exactly. So, I mean, the guy just needs it. I mean, he was the longest reigning champion for one point in WWE.
Why can't he give credit to WWE, but, like...
Why can't he just accept, look, I had a really good WWE career, but, you know, towards the end of my time there, things went a bit sour. I wish it could have been differently. Blah, blah, blah.
He can have a beef with Vince and Triple H, but why does he have to hate the company?
But he doubles down.
It's the same guy that showed up at Raw like 2 months ago.
Yeah, so it couldn't have been that bad. Anyway, that was it. So tonight we get Punk in the main event. Match 1, AEW TNT Championship, Wardlow versus Luchasaurus with Christian Cage. So, I mean, Christian Cage isn't allowed to win any championships, so I guess we need to settle for the next best thing, which is the guy Christian Cage manages winning a championship. He wins the TNT title. I think this is the right decision, to be honest, because Wardlow has already had a long run with the TNT title, dropped it, then pretty much won it back relatively quickly.
If Christian's managing a guy, he has to be winning titles, man, or else you're just completely underutilising Christian.
I wasn't really digging this Wardlow run either. I don't see why Wardlow held the TNT belt for like a year, then dropped it, and then won it back. I feel like when you drop the TNT belt, you should probably be moving up. But another thing is, like, I don't really feel like there's any sort of, like, prestige level, you know, in WWE. You look at belts, and just different belts have different importance. Like, I think when you're in WWE, and you look at the history of the belts, and obviously they've had different belts at different times, at different eras, but you've always been able to look and go, well, that belt's above that belt. That belt's more important than this belt. I feel like in AEW, outside of the World Championship, it's kind of difficult to see what belt is like the second tier belt.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's that many.
You wouldn't think it's the TNT Championship because it's a TV title, but at the same time, I think the TNT Championship feels a lot more important than the All Atlantic Championship.
Yeah, all these titles get defended with so much frequency, you can't tell which one...
But I couldn't tell you in another company where a TV title was the second best belt.
And here,
let's see WCW. The TV title was never bigger than the US title. The TV title, maybe in
the US title in WCW. I mean, DDP, Booker T, Randy Savage, Lex Luger. I mean, it wasn't your average bum. But look at the women's division in AEW. Could you try and tell me the way Jade Gargle's been booked that title looks way worse than the actual main title?
The very thing you could argue the TBS Women's Championship feels more important than there doesn't feel like there's let's be real, it doesn't feel like there's a big gap between both belts. They feel very similar to me.
And the way they position MJF in segments and also in cards on pay-per-views, like being like halfway through the show, the world title feels like shit too.
There just seems to be no tier for me in terms of like the belts. In WWE, you know what belts. Like, even during, like, the Invasion angle or, like, the Attitude Era when they had quite a lot of belts, it was, like, obviously you had the world... in terms of single belts, it was the world title, then it was the Intercontinental, then it was the European, and then it was the Hardcore.
Yep.
And then maybe like the cruiserweight felt even worse than the hardcore.
Although I feel for a period the hardcore overtook the European when Taker held it.
I would agree with that, but
That's because it's Taker.
that's because it's Taker. I just don't really feel that with AEW. I don't feel like there's an importance in terms of like what belt comes next. But if I had to pick one, I would say the TNT Championship is almost their Intercontinental title. Because for me, the All Atlantic title doesn't mean shit. Probably because Orange Cassidy's held it.
One.
But who is that?
I don't know. But I know someone's got it.
Never heard it.
Me never heard it. The international title.
Well, who's got it then?
I can't remember, but someone definitely has it.
I think you're making that title up.
No, I swear to God, no.
Name me one person who's held it.
I can't remember, but it definitely.
Oh, for God's sake! So this title exists, but you can't name me one person who's held it.
Oh, who holds it? Who holds it right now?
Are you sure you're not getting it mixed up with the All Atlantic?
You talk a lot of pish and I'll get it up right now.
What do you think I do all these reviews?
Well, yeah, that's a valid point.
Yeah, so anyway, let's talk about the end of the match. So, they're trying to put Wardlow away, they can't do it. Then Wardlow overtakes the match, gets control. Christian's on the outside. He's not allowed to get inside or else it will cause a disqualification. So Christian is like pacing around the ring here, not being able to do much. Wardlow is hitting the power bomb on Luchasaurus. It looks like Wardlow is going to win. Then Christian gets up on the apron and Luchasaurus pushes Wardlow in towards the corner, and Christian grabs a camera off a cameraman, cracks Wardlow in the face with it, and then Wardlow falls on his back and Luchasaurus crawls over Wardlow to get the 1, 2, 3. Look, Luchasaurus, new AEW TNT champion. I have no issue with that. I think it's actually the right decision here, but I don't agree with the way Luchasaurus won it. He's a big guy. Now, yeah, you can have him and Christian cheat, I get that. But having Luchasaurus, who's this big guy, actually bigger than Wardlow, supposed to be this heel monster that Christian's created, and he crawls over and literally just rolls Wardlow over and hooks a leg for 1, 2, 3 and gets the win off a Christian hitting Wardlow with the camera. For me, that is a horrible way for him to win the belt. I think you could have easily kept it right up until the pin, but have Luchasaurus do his finisher. Why the hell Luchasaurus would need to basically steal the 3 count after Christian hits him with the camera? I mean, it just makes no sense to me whatsoever. It would be like Kane. It'd be like Kane having to crawl and roll over Undertaker. It's like when Shawn Michaels pins Taker at Hell in a Cell after Kane does the tomb. That suits Shawn Michaels because he's a small guy, chicken shit heel. I get that, but let's say Shawn Michaels is the one that comes out at Hell in a Cell and super kicks Taker, and then Kane crawls over and puts the arm over. It would look like a shit finish. So in my opinion, when Christian hit him with the camera, Luchasaurus should have hit his chokeslam or whatever, then pinned him 1, 2, 3. But apparently I don't know shit about wrestling and all these guys know what they're talking about. So,
but here's what I know about wrestling. The All Atlantic Championship got rebranded as the AEW International
So what you're saying is you're wrong.
Well, I said there's an International Championship. I didn't know who held it.
Who cares about the lineage of that belt, right? None of them are important.
Orange Cassidy's the holder. That's all you need to know.
Anyway, point is, do you agree with my finish or not?
No, yeah, like anyone who's considered like a monster type should not be doing a crawl and finish. It's poor.
I'm not saying Christian can't get involved and hit him with the camera, but I think Luchasaurus should get the final move.
Yeah, like you said, I mean,
wait. If you reverse the roles and Luchasaurus is the manager and Christian's the one in the match, then I think the finish is fine.
Absolutely.
I think that suits Christian. Where he crawls over and he puts the arm over and gets the 1, 2, 3. But for me, it doesn't suit the big fucking dinosaur monster.
Although I could see a heel American Badass doing this sort of finish.
Taker?
I think I could. I feel like this 2002 run, this is the same guy's kind of been running scared a few times, so why not?
From who?
From Austin? So I'm like, man, you can't let him touch me, man. Come on.
Well, Austin had that power over everybody.
I know, there's a big difference between Luchasaurus and Austin.
Anyway, Lexi Nails up next with Powerhouse Hobbs and QT Marshall. Hobbs says that he's going to win the Owen Hart tournament, so good luck with that shit.
More pandering.
Match number 2, the return of Andrade El Idilio versus Buddy Matthews. 2 guys that used to be in WWE. 2 guys that were like main event in Raw 4 years ago. What a horrible time that was to watch Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
The pandemic years, definitely the worst years I think in wrestling.
And that's what this literally felt like. just feel if AEW just does feel like WWE a few years ago when you watch it.
I feel like at least in TNA they were signing like the WWE guys that were like past it but good.
Yeah, here it's
AEW's
guys who are kind of past it but not good.
AEW's just signing the guys that WWE didn't want.
It's like Pac's 35.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that. But anyway, Andrade beats Buddy Matthews with the figure 4 leg lock. So shout out. Then he turned it into a figure 8. So he has to steal the woo, has to steal the robe. Now he's stealing his fucking wife's finisher. How embarrassing. How long until he's a 14-time world champion?
Andrade looks more like a woman than Charlotte, though.
That is true. At least get Ric Flair back to manage him. To give us something good.
But how great would it be knowing on Coalition you were getting like Punk and Flair promos every week?
I'd tune in.
Even though Punk's not that good, but Flair's the man.
Flair is the man.
Get Flair to wrestle, man. Flair against CM Punk. Did we ever get it?
Woo! 60 minutes, baby. Oh, CM Punk didn't say the king is back, so maybe we'll see Ric Flair dethrone the king. Up next, got Miro versus Tony Nese. Again, another guy that WWE let go, and a guy that was in 205 Live. So, I mean, it's just more WWE.
Why the hell's this guy on the debut show, man, of a big show?
It's just more WWE rejects.
and it's not like he gets squashed here. He goes like a 50-50 match.
Even the main event's got WWE fucking rejects. Anyway, yeah, Miro squashes Tony Nese, so that's Miro's return as well. Miro and Andrade returning to the company for the first time in a long time tonight, so yeah, we'll see if there's anything happening with them. AEW Coalition just seems like, it's like a show for people that aren't really there. It's like, you're returning, right, we'll stick you in Coalition.
Yeah, like Miro, Andrade, would it surprise you that in like a few weeks' time that these guys are just forgotten about?
Be gone for the company or
in a month's time, man, I wouldn't be surprised if Punk's injured or away and everyone who was on this show who's like not really featured, like you said, is gone. That's just the way AEW. I mean, no, see, instead of creating a new show, they could have just revamped Rampage. Because what is the point of Rampage, or have they done away with it?
Rampage is apparently going to turn into like Dark.
So they
already felt like Dark.
Are they going to do away with Dark?
Yeah, they've actually done away with Dark in Elevation.
That's the right choice.
But I think Rampage is still going to be on TV. So the ratings are just going to get fucking way worse.
Jesus.
I think we'll see Rampage dip into about 200,000 over the next couple of weeks. That's my opinion. Match 4 with Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale versus Toni Storm and Ruby Soho. Paige is apparently injured, so that's why she's not here. Paige should probably just call it a day, in my opinion. I don't really see what she has left to offer as a wrestler. I mean, could have had a nice wee role in WWE as a commentator or as a GM or as a manager, but didn't want to do that, wanted to wrestle, so good luck to her in AEW, but I don't see it ending well. Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale win. Sky Blue hits like this spinning sunset flip powerbomb maneuver, gets the 1-2-3. Sky Blue is literally went from being a jobber over the past couple months to someone that you could maybe even see getting a title shot down the line, so yeah, fair play. Her and Willow Nightingale win. Not a lot to add about this. Didn't really enjoy the match. Didn't care for the match. I don't care for the entire AEW's women's division at all, to be honest.
Yeah, like, so Paige, why is there so many people that go to AEW just think they are like they deserve above and beyond the treatment they get in WWE? Like, she was given a prominent role as a GM of SmackDown in WWE, was she not?
And I actually thought she'd done okay in that role.
And here she is. Oh, we are the what's.
But it's the same with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
All he did was bitch, and WWE gave him a job. They didn't need to. They kept him on screen. They gave him a GM role where he was still playing a predominant figure on TV, getting a good wage, and he was more concerned about, oh, you guys aren't letting me wrestle. Well, God forbid the company actually wanted to protect your health and not end your career and paralyse you, but whatever, you keep taking power bombs on the ring apron in AEW.
You would be led to believe that Daniel Bryan's had a better AEW career than like his return in WWE in like 2017 to 19 or whatever, or 2021 when he had that. But I mean, he had a world title feud, the Eco shit, and he had a Mania main event against Reigns. But was he being the leader of the Blackpool Jobber Club? That's what it's at.
Is he the leader?
I think he is. He looks to me as if he's the leader. He does all the talking. He does all the commentary team stuff. And
so what's John Moxley then?
He's just some alky, junky, weirdo, fat bastard. I don't know what he's doing.
Anyway, here you go. That's John Moxley for you. Tony Schiavone then welcomes Daddy Ass and the Acclaimed. What is with this whole Daddy Ass thing? It's very gay. Very, very gay.
But they pretend it's not gay.
They're scissoring little kids in the crowd, and it's like...
They're burying Donald Trump. Come on, you tried in Chicago. They were never going to bury big Joe Biden in Chicago.
Definitely not. The segment wasn't great.
No, see if this guy actually came out and made a joke about like gun crime in Chicago, I'd fucking, I'd say fair dues.
Yep.
I think it's to be edgy. That's the stuff you say.
Now, on WrestleHeadlines.com, it describes the segment, and then it says, "This is officially the greatest segment in any television show ever." Well, unless this is like the only television show you've ever watched, then possibly that is fair enough. Although I still thought the Punk segment was better, but that what a ridiculous claim that is. I mean, I'm not even going to dignify that with any more time. Main event then, Bullet Club Gold. I don't know why they're called gold. It's not like they're the gold standard or anything like that.
I know, but see that guy, what's his name?
Jay White.
He's the man, isn't he?
Jay White is the fucking man. They teamed up with Samoa Joe to take on FTR and CM Punk. This match was abysmal. People were saying it was great. It was not great. There was a spot in the match where Punk hits like a move on, I believe it's Jay White. He could go for the cover. He waits 10 seconds and decides not to go for the cover. Then he goes for the cover. And then you've got one of the members of FTR in the ring. And he sees one of the other Bullet Club Gold members getting into the ring. And he literally moves out the way in order to allow him to break up the pin. This looked absolutely terrible. And then there's another spot where Samoa Joe has got the Coquita clutch locked in on Punk in the middle of the ring. Both members of FTR are also in submission holds, and they can't help Punk. The commentators are trying to put over, will Punk tap? It looks like Punk is going to pass out. The commentary team's doing a good job here. Fair play to them. You're thinking Punk's done. You're thinking Punk's fucked. But then we have, I believe is it Cash? What one's the one we hear?
I think it is Cash, yes.
So Cash manages to break...
Cash Wheeler.
Cash manages to break free from whatever Bullet Club Gold member had him. Then he gets into the ring. He sees Punk still passed out in the Coquita clutch in the middle of the ring. Punk and Joe are the legal men. And then he's got his teammate who's on the ring apron in a sleeper hold with the other Bullet Club Gold member. And he runs past Samoa Joe and Punk in the middle of the ring, completely ignores them, and ends up spearing the Bullet Club Gold member through the ropes to the outside. Well, Punk's still fucking in the submission, and then the bald guy has to wait about 5 seconds till he can get up and recover, and then he's the one that breaks up the submission on Punk. And it's like, are you fucking shitting me? Like, why the fuck would you not break up the submission that is in the ring with the two legal guys? Instead, he threw himself through the middle ropes to break up the hold that was on his teammate on the outside that wasn't even fucking in play. Yet the commentary team are trying to portray that Punk's in serious trouble here and he could tap at any moment. But obviously, fucking Cash didn't think so because he wasted time doing a stupid dive to the outside. Fucking abysmal.
Yep, it is abysmal. FTR, Fat Flabby Cash.
Hold on, you didn't see it, so I don't know what you're saying.
I know, but you described it pretty well, mate. See, if I was blind, I'd be able to tell what happened. I wish I was blind, but I'm watching this.
And then...
No, actually, hold on. We need to address CM Punk's attire.
Yeah, it's not good. It's all...
Talk about Shawn Michaels' shitey brand.
I was going to go to that. You still want to
Survivor Series choice. I don't know, actually, you know what? It's the worst.
Yeah, I'd say Punk's is a second close to that.
What was Shawn Michaels doing?
It just didn't look...
Did he find God and shout himself?
I don't know, you're just a sexy boy, the flamboyant Shawn Michaels, and he comes out in these brown, shitey pants. It just didn't look good.
It's probably the only thing it takes away for that match.
It was a great match, but the trunks were pretty poor. Then we get the FTR, they hit their finisher, and Punk hits the GTS, and that's it. 1, 2, 3. They win, the show goes off the air, but we've got probably the most important thing to talk about. The show goes off the air, then Punk holds up a sign saying support trans kids, and then he speaks on the microphone and he says that he wants to support trans and LGBT kids because when he grew up he was a weird kid. He was an outcast, he wasn't accepted, Then he says that these kids might be a little bit psychotic. These kids might be a little bit, ill and might not be able to hold down proper jobs. So we need to support them. It's like he's literally burying these people as like having mental health issues, and then he's saying we need to support them because of that. No. I mean, if they're not well, if they're sick, then we need to address that, and we need to try and get to the root of the problem. When someone's sick, you don't fucking indulge in their sickness, you help them. So I don't know what Punk was going for here, and I've seen him get a lot of backlash for this. A lot of people are saying, leave kids alone. And how can kids be trans? How can you have little kids that are fucking trans or gay? I mean, kids should not be sexualised. They shouldn't know anything about being gay or being straight. They should have no interest in having sex when they're that age. So I don't know why CM Punk decided to do this. I mean, to me, it was not necessary at all. I can almost accept him coming out with the abortion rights. That's fair enough. He wants to protest that women should be able to have abortions, and he can do that. But I think targeting the kids here and talking about trans kids was too far. And I mean, I've seen people from the gay community come out and speak against this and say that they've no right to target kids. So yeah, no, I don't think CM Punk done himself any favours here.
No, he didn't. And you know what? I've lost a lot of respect for CM Punk. I can accept the abortion one. I can. This one, it's a step too far for CM Punk. And also, it's also the fact he's come out and said here, we all know they've got mental health problems, but I'm going to back them, damn it. But you would led to believe from all these people that they're normal. They just want to be the other side. They don't feel themselves, man. Come on, what fucking a 4-year-old doesn't know what... A 4-year-old shits itself. I mean, the kids... The fucking... Kids 2-year-old, man, sitting wearing nappies, but what they think they want to change genders? They don't even know how to take a shit. But I tell you what, guys, this show was shit. Is this show 2 hours or 1 hour? Not
2 hours.
Yeah, CM Punk, man, he returned. I would interested to see how the Chicago fans reacted to CM Punk cutting this. Were you privy to that?
I wasn't privy to it, no.
I was gonna say, but I don't know. Chicago's a bit of a mess. Like, I mean, they'd probably rather he whipped out a gun or something. But I'm gonna give this show a big fat 1 out of 10.
Right, I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. I like the design. I like the look of the show. Looked better than Dynamite in my opinion.
Saturday night's alright for fighting.
I like the commentary team. It was fresh. I mean, I might just have preferred this show because it was brand new. I mean, who's to say after like a month I won't be thinking this show sucked, but I thought it was better than your average episode of Dynamite. So yeah, I'll give it a 3 out of 10. 2 out of 10, guys, for AEW.
Yeah, but what's the reason to watch next week? Like, what's Punk going to do next week? Another jobber throwaway tag match? It means nothing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's no hook. You go off the show and it's like, what's leading into the next show? It's just Punk celebrating with FTR.
It's not even like Kevin Kelly's like, is CM Punk next week going to bring his title out with a bag and demand a title shot against MJF? No, there's just here, he thinks trans rights are kids' rights. That is the ending image of this show, pretty much. CM Punk talking about grooming kids.
Well, that happened after the show went off there, so...
I know, but say you're in that arena, you're like, oh, why should I buy tickets for next week? Why should I travel to North Carolina next week to see Coalition? Trans rights, damn it. It absolutely sucks.
And on that note, guys, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.